As you know, everyone here in this site, I am a huge Masters of the Universe fan. I love the 1980s vintage toy line, and I also love the 1983 to 1985 Filmation series. And I have been following closely because of that precisely the recently announced Masters of the Universe Revelation Netflix series set to be released on the 23rd of July. This comes from the hand of Kevin Smith, and also because of that is that I have my own concerns and reservations about it. I'm not the only one though, because there are also other fans feeling weary about whatever Kevin Smith has been concocting in the Masters of the Universe franchise. And the controversy has surrounded this new series, and one of the latest installments in that comes from an interview that Kevin Smith had with IO9 that is being reported by comicbook.com, which is a news site. And in it is said that Kevin Smith addresses the differences between his own show called Masters of the Universe Revelation and She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, a reboot or remake, I don't even know how to call it, of the original She-Ra, Princess of Power Filmation series as well, which was supposed to be both a spin-off and a continuation of the Masters of the Universe series. And this reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, also from the hand of Netflix and by Noel Stevenson, has had fans divided between those very young fans of today that loved the show and the original fans of the original Filmation series that despised it. And because of that is that I draw attention to this little thing in the article. We're going to look at it, we're going to discuss it, we're going to analyze it, especially considering that in it Kevin Smith seems to be praising Noel Stevenson as much as this horrible series, in my opinion, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. But before we go into that, remember to like, share and subscribe, because that helps this channel a lot. Without further ado, let's dive into this article and what Kevin Smith had to say about this show called She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And here we have the article from comicbook.com. It reads, Masters of the Universe Kevin Smith describes show's difference from She-Ra. The article begins with the following. This summer we'll see the return of He-Man and the Land of Eternia with a new animated series on Netflix, Masters of the Universe Revelation, with the legendary creator Kevin Smith, who dove into how his upcoming series will be different from Netflix's She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. With both Prince Adam and She-Ra hailing from the same universe when they were first introduced, the upcoming animated adaptation by Kevin Smith might not take place in the same locale, but the two franchises do still have plenty in common. It does not take place on the same locale, simply because they are not in the same place. The He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series takes place in Eternia, that's the name of the planet, and She-Ra the Princess of Power, which was how it was called originally by Filmation, takes place in Etheria. So they are two different places. Do you even have people that are actually devoted to comic books and to pop culture and that are fans? The person that wrote this seems to not know anything about the basics from both Masters of the Universe and She-Ra, Princess of Power. The article continues, quote, Masters of the Universe Revelation is set to launch on July the 23rd, bringing us a new take on the world of He-Man. Yes, we know that. And also it talks here about who is going to be voicing the characters and so on and so forth. And it continues, quote, it definitely seems as if Smith and his crew are looking to leave their mark on the fan-favorite franchise. She-Ra and the Princesses of Power debuted on Netflix in 2018 and took a radical new approach to the heroine of Eternia. No, she is from Etheria, we already said that. Coming to an end in 2020 with several seasons under its belt along with a big fan following, I don't really think so. The show was actually divisive. For on one side we had the new fans, let's say, that enjoy this Call Arts Tumblr sort of style, character design and animation. And on the other side, we had some old school She-Ra fans who disliked not only the animation style but also the story. It was a bit nonsensical to them, and also it didn't have many seasons. In reality, it was all sort of two seasons that were separated and divided into various different parts. I mean, if you are talking about the show debuting here in 2018 and ending in 2020, it's only 2 years. It had several seasons in the span of 2 years. Uh, it sounds more like what they did was separating a season into different parts, different bits, and that's what you are counting as seasons. And Kevin Smith seems to be doing exactly the same when on July the 23rd we will have only the first part of season 1 with the part 2, the second part, coming later on during uh, the year, like at the end of the year or something like that. So he pretty much seems to be doing the same thing that Noelle Stevenson did with She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, right? Considering that this is supposed to be a 10 episode season, so we are only going to have 5 episodes, and then we have to wait like what, 6 months or something like that for the next 5 episodes. That is ridiculous. I mean, it's already a short season with 10 episodes only. So no, I don't really think that that is the way to go, but we will have to wait and see. Now it says here in the article, Kevin Smith, in a recent interview with IO9, dove into detail about what he and his crew was aiming to do with the new story of Grayskull hitting Netflix later this summer, and how both the upcoming series and She-Ra are able to share the same sense of unrestrained creativity. And he said that the following: quote, "Our manifesto was to be fan-servicey. We did not have a kind of creative, let's call it, freedom to reinvent the franchise the way that She-Ra did, and did it brilliantly." We will have to wait and see for that, considering that also there were reports, and also from your own freaking mouth during PowerCon 2019, that the show was going to have Tila go out and gather a band of heroes to discover the secrets to Castle Grayskull and save Eternia after a terrible battle that has left the planet in shambles, and of course, apparently He-Man nowhere to be seen, Weekend, or some other dumb shite like that. So we will have to wait and see how much you have destroyed the franchise or how much you have reinvented it. As for the freedom that She-Ra had to reinvent the franchise, that you say here that it was done brilliantly, I have my doubts about it. Many have complained about the lack of real storylines, like Catra, for example, was not punished for being just this psychopathic character. She was rewarded with Adora's love, and at the end that they kiss and all that. It has also it has had some problems with character development, not because all the characters were terribly developed, but because the male characters were not as useful and as heroic as the female characters, of course. So it seems to me like there is an agenda going on there, but maybe it's just me, right? It's not like people around the internet have said, well, we didn't really like this, and we think that maybe there was room for better stories or for better handling of consequences that both heroes and villains were going to face. But who knows, right? Maybe it's just us. It says here also, Noelle Stevenson's She-Ra cartoon played to a lot more people than it probably ever would have played to if they just kept it in its original incarnation. That is also something to question there, considering that many old school fans didn't really like the original She-Ra, and also considering that many new fans just stuck to She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, but didn't really buy any merchandise. And also, Mattel didn't produce any merchandise, and the very little that is out there is like gathering dust there in the shelves. So who knows? I don't think that it was that brilliant. I don't think that it was so drawing of an audience, but maybe again that's just me. And he continues, but She-Ra even in its era, wasn't as well known as He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, so there's more room for creativity there, and in fact, that's what they were allowed to do. Now, she was not that unknown. She was pretty well known. Girls loved it, and He-Man made enough appearances, in the show to also draw kids in. Boys, I mean, in case that they were not already invested in the show. So, no, she was not really that unknown. She was quite known here, in my opinion. Would you love to see an eventual crossover between these two different takes on the Land of Eternia? No, I really don't want to see any of these two getting together in any way, shape, or form in a crossover or anything like that. I don't think that it's necessary. I think that it would be best for us to just leave the two things completely separate. And that is what Kevin Smith had to say about She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And in my opinion, and remember that it is only that, my opinion, he is once again shilling for something that was disliked, that had people concerned, that had people worried, in the same vein that he did with The Rise of Skywalker. If you remember, he said, don't worry, go watch the film, you are going to love it, everything will be sorted out, the answers will come, and you will be satisfied. And in my opinion, none of that actually took place with this film, and we cannot really take him at his word. But of course, once again, it is only me. Is he shilling? Is he not shilling? You have, in the end, the last say. So let me know down below in the comments what you think about this new remark from Kevin Smith, who is the showrunner to Masters of the Universe Revelation, and also let us know what your opinion is about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Do you think it's going to be a good show? Do you think it's not going to be a good show? Are you going to wait until you see it to make your own judgment? Let us know down below in the comments, and until next time, peace out.